Hey, Randy Joe here, and this is 1000 Reviews, the series where I plan on reviewing every single album from the 1000 albums to listen to before you die book. And today we're looking at Al Green's 1972 album, Let's Stay Together. Let's Stay Together was released underneath the High label, produced by Willie Mitchell with art direction from Marlene Bergman, nationality USA, and a running time of 33 minutes and 38 seconds. Let's Stay Together by Al Green is a pretty fantastic album through and through for just how he approaches soul music and brings so much sense of atmosphere and consistency to the table. This entire album, in my opinion, has so much unique charm to it and feels like it is definitely a very specific style that only Al Green can pull off. It feels both retro and modern at the same time and really pushes the envelope of soul music in the early 70s, while at the same time feeling as if it is respecting his precursors. The opening title track, for example, Let's Stay Together, was a massive hit for Al Green, and you can easily see why, as this is challenging a lot of the soul pop norms of the time by having an ascending and descending melody constantly shifting between the two to create a very unique and dynamic track, while at the same time the overall production and the horns feel very retro-esque and offer up quite a bit of unique style to it. The second track, La La For You, takes a different approach from the opening track, with this one feeling much more direct and punchy and driven with its delivery and tone. Stylistically, I really like the confidence in Al Green's voice, something that he shows on multiple tracks here, where he feels like he's much more in his element and is not putting his heart on the table like many of the other soul love songs throughout this entire album. And make no mistake, this album is nothing but soul love songs. There really isn't anything on here other than that, but I would say that Al Green explores this concept of love, heartbreak, gossip among friends, and many other shortcomings that come along with love stories, but he does it in a very diverse and unique way, really shifting between vulnerability and confidence. Speaking of confidence, there's also the track Old Time Lovin', which again feels like Al Green working within this confident sort of zone, while at the same time shedding just a little bit of vulnerability in his tone and voice to create this very retro-esque, while at the same time progressive sort of uniquely produced track. The production of this track and the entirety of the album, I would say, feels very authentic and unique and original to the time, while at the same time offering up a old age sort of 60s tone that feels so strong throughout. And I like the way Al Green is able to approach different unique sounds and styles while at the same time feeling completely at ease and comfortable with what he is doing. For example, on the third track, So You're Leaving Me, he again has this very vulnerable and confident approach at the same time shifting between these two sort of dynamic tones and styles while offering up more scat-like shouts. This is something that Al Green doesn't do that often on this album, but when he does, it feels completely natural and properly placed. He never feels as if he's stepping out of his comfort zone, but rather he is comfortable no matter what zone he's in, which is quite impressive considering he's able to diversify himself quite a bit throughout this half hour. He slows things down with perhaps one of the most popular tracks on the album as well, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, which is a cover of the Bee Gees song from the early 70s, but Al Green takes it and does it significantly better than even them. Because again, it feels as if this is just Al Green being himself. He doesn't feel like he's putting on an act. He doesn't feel like he's trying to do a cover here. In fact, if I heard this and the Bee Gees version at the same time, I would assume that this is actually the original version and the Bee Gees did a cover of him, because Al Green's cover is just so uniquely his own, so expansive and such a vast improvement on the original while feeling so well produced and authentic to Al Green that it is quite impressive. It almost feels like this song was written for him to do and not the Bee Gees. So that alone is an impressive feat because Al Green is able to just take whatever he wants and really makes it his own. And I think that's what I really like about Al Green through and through, is just how he is so natural in every direction he goes into. There is no sense of awkwardness or unease as he approaches these different sounds and styles, but instead he goes into them with complete confidence and no sense of insecurity in what he's doing. It just always feels so natural with whatever Al Green chooses to do. And with that being said, this is just such a treat of a half hour. This album has so much charm to it, feels very unique, feels quite warm with its production, and just incredibly infectious with its sound. So with that all being said, I love this album. It is one of my favorite soul albums I've ever heard, and probably one of my favorite soul albums of the 70s, which is impressive considering the 70s was already flourishing with great soul music. So this gets a soft rating of 9 out of 10, and I will give this a hard rating of 9 out of 10 as well. And of course, with that being said, I would say this is an essential listen. If you're a music fan, this is a great half hour to delve into Al Green. Great musician, underrated musician, I would say, and definitely worthy of a listen. All right, let's see what the next album to listen to is in the 1001 albums to listen to before you die. 1 to 1001 generate. Number 626, which is the album. 626 being the album Bug by Dinosaur Jr. Go and give that a listen, and I'll review that in about 1 week from now. Anyways, that pretty much does it for this video. Please hit like and subscribe if you want to follow along and listen to every album from the 1001 albums to listen to before you die book. And as always, my name is Randy Joe, and I'm signing off.